We don't often use the words extreme, incredible or awesome because they need to be saved for when things really are excredible or stream or insome. Well, today is that day. Hidden somewhere in this maize crop is 23 times world champion shooter George Digweed. Ah, there he is, perched on the corner of the standing crop flanked by 2 pigeon magnets. And that's it. Not a single decoy to be seen. He's not waiting for them to come to him. He's taking his pellet party pack to them.
Oh, that's a good one. Get on, get on. There's a bit of a wood in front and a belt of trees here. And I've set up right on the corner of the standing maize, hoping that the pigeons are going to come up the wood and follow the belt out. It's more flight line shooting than decoying. And because it's flight line shooting, it's good practice for this time of year for shooting a few pheasants. There's one coming up through here now, let's hope that comes. But it's very still, so the pigeons aren't really following a pattern. So it'll be an interesting morning, early afternoon shooting. I don't think it'll be particularly easy, but then we don't want it particularly easy.
That's how the day is shaping up. So, what has George got in store for us? Well, there is some crow abuse.
Andy who?
Shot placement.
You're looking at that area there, forward.
New shell analysis.
And I would feel totally confident using them anywhere.
And Club Digweed.
I think that people can see the benefit from it.
Let's start with crow banter, and George thinks that Andy can only shoot pigeons 15 feet in front of the hide, producing pillowcases, especially when the slow-mo chromo is on. That's what you think about Andy, isn't it, George?
Who? Oh, crow. I shouldn't bother to get the slow-mo feather cam going, as I doubt you'll be able to see any feathers come out of the pigeons that we're shooting here.
Moving on quickly and high on the North Kent Downs, the conditions are ideal for George to shoot birds at range. A breathless day means the pigeons are flying in straight lines and George is able to get a nice clean swing on them. However, he will only lift the gun if he knows he can see the vitals.
Today is an ideal day for killing birds at long range because it's dead still and, you know, they've got... Hang on one second. Now that pigeon was about, the top of that ash tree is about 85 yards. So you'll kill a pigeon or any game bird further if you can see the vital organs. So, you know, I will only shoot at a bird in range, or what I call in range, which is a long way sometimes, if I can see the head or the neck. If you've got a pigeon flying, the vital area is anywhere between here and here, and obviously if they're out you may break a wingtip which will get it down on the ground, but basically you're looking at that area there forward. Now if you've got it at range, that means it's either coming there or crossing you there. You can let the shot go into that pigeon, so the shot bend back into the pigeon as that's flying lead wise. But if you've got a pigeon here, all you're doing is you're coming in here under the vital areas, into the legs and that sort of thing, and you won't hit a vital spot at range enough to kill it. At 30 yards you can still put pellets in there and do enough damage to kill it, but at range you won't do it because it hasn't got the striking energy.
Rifle shooters always talk about aiming for the vitals, but how many of us actually think differently about bird shooting? Stick enough lead in the air and it will drop. Well, George says it won't. It seems appropriate that George is shooting his typical game cartridge, Game Ball's Pigeon Extremes. However, he recently tried something new, even though he hates changing shells. He had a go with Game Ball's new Dark Storm shells on a pheasant day.
I took some up to Yorkshire the other day because I thought, being in Yorkshire, if I didn't get on with them particularly well, I was far enough away from home that it wouldn't get back here. And I have to say that I was more than pleasantly surprised at how well the wool wads worked. I was shooting 32 gram 5s, and not only did they clear all the prick stuff up, and there was some quite good crossers there at good range. That gave me the confidence to go on, and then later on in the day we had very good birds presented to us. I shot them very well. Please tell me you got that on.
So Darkstorm is the Formula E of cartridges, bringing green speed to the shooting field. Talking of which, back to the field and some fieldcraft. George also knows by the bird reaction where the pellet strikes.
As you can see, that pigeon was hitting the eye. That wasn't a lung shot tower where they go up and hover before they collapse. It was just hit right in the head. Oh! There's that pigeon that we just shot. As if to prove a point. Right in the eye. And yet again, long pigeon, vital spot.
George's two labs look absolutely shattered, picking birds up from all corners of Kent. At this time of year they are working every day, and they do seem to have lost a bit of speed. The older of the girls, Lara, George classes as one of his best ever dogs. She is suffering from cancer, but still finds the energy to retrieve. George picks another long-range bird. At this time of year, when George is not game shooting, he's making time to work on his new membership club, Club Digweed.
I believe it's informative. I'm putting a lot into the coaching side of it. And the feedback we're getting is really good. New ideas. Get on. We've had a few issues with the cameraman. He's a bit dodgy. But after a bit of coaching from me, we've managed to get through a few things. And eventually he started to listen. Unfortunately, they have their own ideas and agendas, and it's very difficult to sort of try and get people back on board. But we've managed it. That was a nice one. But I'm pleased with the uptake so far, and I think that people can see the benefit from it.
After a quiet morning, the birds start moving at midday, and it dries up by 2:30 p.m. Halfway through the shooting, George starts facing the other way to intercept them coming along the tree line.
You can just see the top of the maze just starting to move. And for some reason the pigeons are now turning and coming back this way. So I've turned round and I'm shooting them on the flight line coming down the belt. There's one coming down the belt here now that should come all the way. Oh, shot underneath him. Killed his mate and shot underneath that one. Oh, what a second barrel. That's the beauty of a stiller day's shooting, is the fact that if you do hit it hard with your first shot, they haven't got the ability, which they have in a wind, they haven't got the ability that they have in a wind of changing direction quick enough. So consequently, I was able to get on the line of that pigeon dropping to be able to kill it. Here, come on. Nelly. Now. Come on.
It's been a world-class display of shooting flighting pigeons at range. The dogs have picked most of the birds, but there's still some tidying up to do. The bag is about 70, which is the average distance in yards that George has shot his birds today.